Minutes late. Had to referee a couple of wild banshee children in my house that are just literally put on this earth to be best friends one moment and mortal enemies the next minute. So I apologize. But here we are. We made it. And if you hear the screams in the background, I promise you they are not in a dungeon. Okay? It took all of what? 25 seconds for the screams. Anyway, good morning. How are ya? It's Coffee Talk on a Wednesday morning, a beautiful Wednesday morning, may I add. Here's a live look outside from one of our tower cams. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous morning. This tower cam shot showing some high, thin clouds, but, all said, it's a lovely start to the day. So what are you doing on a day like today? Hopefully getting outside and enjoying. It is just that nice. That's Ocala, by the way. High, thin clouds. Temperatures looking nice and chilly. A live look in showing 50 in Orlando. We are at 41 degrees in Ocala, 45 in the Villages, and all over Central Florida. I'm just checking to make sure my scripts are all running. It looks like they are running perfectly, which I like that. Refresh. Operation completed successfully. I'm just checking to make sure everything... Yeah. All right. Everything looks good. Good. All right. My scripts, my temperature scripts. I don't know if I told you this. So our weather computer system gets like major updates. Temperature updates every 20 minutes, every 40 minutes, it's something like that, every 20 minutes. And I found that there's data every 5 minutes. And so I wrote some scripts to work. And anyway, so that's why I had to go check. So if you ever see a disparagement, that ticker, for example, is the official hour temperature, something like that. But what you're seeing on this map is the 5-minute temperature. Anyway. Okay, that is the first sip of coffee, and that is so good. That is just what the doctor ordered. All right, so we are looking very nice. Chilly, though. I've seen a couple of you mention that it's chilly outside. I can 100% confirm that. Looking to the forecast today, it's going to be a milder day, though. Our temperatures, instead of hanging out in the lower 60s, we're headed to mid 60s by 1 o'clock. We'll get to about 70 this afternoon, and then notice by tonight, we actually have some shower chances around Central Florida. 10, 20, 30% chance of seeing a few showers around. So yeah, that is going to be the first of our storm systems moving into town. Here's kind of a broader look at it. Late tonight through tomorrow, that storm system moves through. It's not going to be all that impressive. It's not going to be scary by any stretch of the imagination. It brings with it a few showers. That's the first storm system. Then we start to watch out west as our next storm system gears up. This one, dynamics are still looking such that we could be talking about some stronger storms. So we need to keep eyes on the Saturday forecast. We've talked about this for a while, but here we are still doing that, okay? Mike says, I'm on listening mode, needs to make some Campeche. I get you. Sip number 2. Yeah. All right. So let's chat about it. We've got 2 storm systems moving in. The first one is coming in late tonight. So let's take a look at our Futurecast, get an idea of the timing of this rainfall, because like you, obviously we want to make plans. So here's 8 o'clock in the morning. We've got the clouds. Absolutely confirmed. That's what we're seeing on our tower cam network, right? Rolling through time. The day's looking good, but it's definitely going to be straight up cloudy later this afternoon, okay? By 5 o'clock, cloudy skies, overcast skies, if you will. That's as that storm system starts to move in. And then around bedtime, we'll start to see some showers showing up. 10 o'clock, some pockets of heavier rainfall around. Futurecast saying just north of the metro, a little bit of heavier rainfall around. And then overnight, some showers, no big deal. 5:30, 6 o'clock, showers around, but exiting the area. And then through the day tomorrow, look at those skies clearing. Oh my God, it is going to be just gorgeous. Which means, by the way, that our Run Disney race for tomorrow, the Walt Disney World 5K, may have a shower around while you're getting into corrals. but we're looking better and better for the race itself. And that, my friends, is worth all of it. Yeah, love that. Love that, love that, love that. So, we're looking good for the Run Disney race. Certainly, that's what we would like. We want to keep that race, or just the forecast in general, looking good. So, let's go beyond tomorrow morning, all right? So, there's 6 a.m. tomorrow, looking clear, gorgeous through our Thursday, and even nice into Friday, as a matter of fact. Maybe a coastal sprinkle, clouds coming in on that onshore wind. Otherwise, it's looking like a nice Friday. But by Friday evening into Saturday morning, and that's as far out as our extended Futurecast goes, we actually have to go now to the long-range Futurecast. But when we step over to that, there's Thursday looking good, Friday's looking good, but look what's happening during the day Friday. Storm system out in the Gulf of Mexico starting to work our direction, and the timing has shifted a little earlier, certainly, but 5 a.m. when I see on West 2 New Sunrise, that's going to be the big game in town. Showers, thunderstorms moving towards Central Florida, and certainly there is still the potential there of seeing some stronger storms there. Okay. Is it a huge chance? You know, we have to kind of watch and see how this plays out. But it's still showing up on SIPs as having a chance of strong to severe storms. So it's certainly something that we have to watch. There's 5 a.m. Watch by 8 a.m. That line is moving in. 9, 10 a.m. I think is going to be about 11, 12 o'clock. That's when the worst of the weather's kind of moving through and then starting to clear out through the afternoon and into the evening. Surely, isn't that strange for this time of year? No, this is the way that we get our cold fronts. Sometimes they include severe storms with them. And while I'm not saying that the Saturday morning through the afternoon storm system will bring severe weather, but there are still indicators there that it could be a little stronger. Okay? Always got to be on the weekends, Danny says. I know, buddy. I know. Not my thought either. Not my desire either. And, you know, when we compare the different models, like we look at the European and the GFS, there's 10 a.m. Saturday, both models showing the rains around, right? 11, 12, both models showing rains midday Saturday, and then 1, 2 o'clock, both models starting to clear things out. So what we're noticing is that there is now consistency on both the American GFS and the European, that it's like a midday, which is not, you know, it's not ideal, but it's like a midday kind of event on Saturday. Do I end up having to stay late at work? Sure. Does that ruin some of our weekend plans? Sure, whether it be because of the rain or because I have to work. But at the very least, models are starting to come into consistency here. Now, as far as like severe weather guidance, let's just kind of take a few other looks here. All right. Wind gust energy is one of the products that we use to kind of get an idea. All right, give me a minute to get this turned around. It's not built, it's not configured for it, so give me a few seconds. Gust. We're going to do Friday. We're going to do Sunday at current time. Okay. All right. All right, so here's your wind gust energy product. So we can very clearly see that there is some energy in the atmosphere, even some turning and convergence of the winds. And so because of that, wind gusts are going to be a concern. We've got that set up again, late morning, early afternoon on Saturday, right? In terms of the spin, is this? I have to look to see if this is configured properly. Like, none of these are configured. You have to configure them each time for each individual storm system. So give me a few seconds to get this one turned around. Oh, this one is. All right, that's fine. Saturday. So there's a little window for some rotation. Nothing crazy in there. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So kind of watching watching this area for the potential for the potential of some strong to severe storms. Samantha's asking, is either the GFS or Euro models more reliable? Or is it not only does it vary like system by system, but you also have to look at the trends. It's not as easy as which model is better. What you're really looking for is kind of just model trends to see, are they trending this direction? Are they trending that direction? That sort of thing. So that's kind of where we're at. Does that make sense? So we've got a couple of rounds of stronger storms that are going to be around. First one's going to be late tonight, early tomorrow, then Saturday evening, and then early next week, we've got another one. Very El Nino-esque of us. It's a subtropical jet, basically, that's helping these storm systems really roll through pretty quickly. So, yeah, that's just where we're at. All right? Questions about it so far? Questions so far? Raleigh's covered. I want snow. Yeah, well, we're not going to get some snow here. That I can promise you. That I can promise you. Let's see here. It looked like a big blob of storm. Yeah, Jeannie. It is a big blob of storm. It is a big blob of storm. So, but by Friday 11 o'clock at night, that's what Tony Manolfi is going to be looking at, right? Comfortable weather, but watching that next storm system that will be moving in on Saturday. All right. Now, of course, you're here to get into the minutia of it all, and we're certainly going to be doing that. That's going to be the idea. No, the Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center have not yet highlighted it as anything to be, yet. That'll come tomorrow. But the SIPS system, let me dial that up for you. Give me 2 seconds. The SIPS system, which is kind of computer model based, okay? This is a look at the SIPS system. Let me just get it to fit properly here. All right, so what we're looking at here is the trend over the last couple of days. So this is a computer model, and what it looks at, top left, that was when this day was day 8, did not highlight a severe threat. Then day 7 highlighted a severe threat. Then day 6 highlighted a severe threat. So you see you're going from top left to the right, and then so we're at day 4. And so you can still see here very clearly that it's still highlighting what will be kind of an area for some stronger storms in our area. So it's still highlighting it as, having this threat. Whether or not that plays out, we still have to wait and see. Right now, it looks like it's more of a wind event than a tornado threat. It's kind of going back and forth on that, but at least you get the idea, right? Is that there is the threat there's the threat. All right. So for now, it would be like a marginal concern or a level 1 concern is what the computer models are kind of indicating. We'll see how that plays out. Now, as far as the dynamics go, let's change around here. And this is the CFS. So let's go to the GFS. And let's see here. That's Saturday at 18Z. So let's go here as the storm system is kind of approaching us. And we're going to do... All right, so this is the Orlando, basically the Orlando severe weather parameters, the meteogram of sorts. If you're new to Coffee Talk, when there's the threat of severe weather, we definitely nerd out a little bit. If you're into that sort of thing, very much welcome. If you're not into that sort of thing, you're in the wrong place, and I do apologize because that's just what we do. But this is kind of a look at the severe, and we're taking a little deep dive. So first thing I'm noticing, nice moist air mass. There is a little bit of shearing, not a ton of shearing with wind, but there is a little bit of shearing. This is going to be early on Saturday morning, so as that storm system is approaching us. So think of this as a readout of an imaginary weather balloon. Now, why am I looking at this? You're not going to see this on TV, but we in the weather centers will look at this because that imaginary weather balloon gives us data going through the atmosphere. So this is standing at Orlando International Airport. Top left corner, that box in the top left, is going to give us an idea of temperature and dew point with height. It's going to give us an idea of wind direction and wind speed with height. On the top right corner, it's basically if you're looking from space down toward Orlando International Airport, and if you put a balloon up, it would give you an idea what direction that balloon would go. And then on the bottom, it's kind of reading out some different numbers. Think of it as like a computer's version of a red flag. Like, hey, check this out, check that out. So right off the bat, I would say marginal at best setup for severe weather. We step forward in time. This is going to be about 7 a.m. So as those storms are starting to approach us from the Gulf of Mexico. And this, by the way, is a website that we use. It's called Pivotal Weather. You can get this model data and kind of read all this fun stuff as well. But, we're looking at marginal. There's some little itty-bitty indicators. Okay, nothing crazy, but there's some little indication. And it would indicate some wind, and it would indicate some tornado potential, right? Bulk shear's not crazy, but the LCL's kind of starting to rise, which I would expect given the scenario. There's definitely some shearing there, a little twisting with heights, right? Yeah. Showalter index, bulk shear, we're effective shear. But look at top left corner. Look at that moistened envelope. So the question is, do we have enough shear to develop thunderstorms, or with that moistened envelope, is this just like what we call a stratiform or rain event? And I'm pulling for the rain event, right? Would love that. But you've got some winds upstairs. And that's the question, is does the atmosphere take advantage of it? To me, comes in the morning. We've got the wind upstairs. Not a ton of heating. I'm watching it. I'm not overly concerned. I'm not seeing anything that's overly concerning yet, right? But I guarantee you're going to have some hypers online telling you, oh, this is going to be hell on earth. Now, don't listen to them. Okay? Now notice we get into some, this is going to be 21Z. 8, 9, 10, 11, so was it 5? So 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 6. So 6 p.m. As that storm system's clearing out, the atmosphere kind of, it heats up a little bit. We get a little bit of drier air. We've still got some of that upper level wind energy. So as it's leaving, there's, the atmosphere kind of sets up for it. So again, to me, I think the computer's doing right there by saying marginal severe, but that's when the moisture's exiting by 21Z more than likely. So to me, nothing is looking scary with Saturday. But anytime that you've got the low energy that far south, the dynamics don't look to be crazy. Certainly something I want to watch. But, for now, I'm still seeing we could get a stronger storm, but not really overly concerned. Yeah, and see, there you get that little dry air slot kind of sliding in, but then the moisture's exiting at that point, so you're good. The temperature drops to 67. Now we're into Sunday morning, and there's nothing. So, we'll watch it. Wind gusts, some good heavy downpours, that sort of thing. Sure, yeah, I would expect all of that stuff. All right, so that's just an analysis of the raw data. Again, you can get this online, pivotalweather.com, super cool website for this type of plot. Basically, you just take the model, you click, and then you can type exactly where you want it to go. So that's pretty neat. Yeah, that was pretty neat. Pretty neat. Just like Campeche, we drink. Oh, Jesus, Mike. All right, so any questions about this at all? Oh, man, I need that coffee so badly. So badly. So let's just go back. So that's... It's thinking. So that's Saturday at 60. Yeah. I mean, there's marginal severe is what I would put it at. Probably if we get a severe threat for this kind of a thing, just looking at it again one last time, if we get a severe threat, I would say it's probably, at the moment, it would look to me like a level 1. That's a lot. That's a stratiform rain signature right there. Very, very moist. He said moist. All right. Will this recycle later? Yeah. This is the kind of thing that will. Yep. I'd like to have at least one freeze this season. I guess that's not going to happen. I mean, it's still early. It's still early. Debbie, what does the green line represent? So the red line is your temperature. The green line is your dew point. So, for example, if you look on this top left corner, if we want to get nerdy real quick, since you asked, let's zoom into the skew T part. All right. So this on the bottom is going to be temperatures. So the bottom plane is temperatures. The top to bottom, the horizontal plane is going to be temperature. The vertical plane is going to be altitude. So if you look on the left, it says 1,000 millibars, right? That's basically the surface. Just above 1,000, 1024 is the surface. So in this case, it's reading the temperature at the surface to be 68, the dew point at the surface to be 67, so almost saturated. 850, 700. What you're seeing, though, is from 700 to 500 millibars, or about, 500 millibars is about halfway out of the atmosphere. There's a little bit of a dry slot there. All right. You see where the green and the red separate? And then it gets a little moisture over 500 millibars, and then it gets a little drier, getting up to about 300 millibars. So there's two little ribbons of drier air in the atmosphere. Okay, this is really getting into the nerds of science. Now, while we're looking at moisture with the green and red lines, don't ignore on the right side those little weird barbs. Those are wind barbs. It shows the direction on a cardinal compass, right? It shows the direction and it shows the speed. Each little line or triangle represents speeds. You've got half line and a line, 5 and 10, right? And then the triangle is 50. So that's how you read wind speed. So for example, winds at the surface, and we can look at this, I'll just go overly zoomed in here. So winds around the surface, all right, are going to be like southwest at 10. And then as we go up in the atmosphere, see at 500, well, actually, let's go to 7. You see that 700 line? Winds at 700, that's going to be like 40 knots. Okay? Winds at 500, see the triangle? It's going to be 50 knots, right? And then you go up to 300, that's going to be 50, 60, 70, 85 knots. So those are the wind direction, and see how there is a little bit of turning. Not a ton, but there's a little bit of turning. So that's where we look for like tornado threats and things. This is super nerdy stuff. This is the stuff that we look at in the Weather Center when working on forecasts, particularly severe forecasts, if I'm honest. You don't have to look at this stuff every day. But when there's threats of severe weather, you definitely want to go dig a little deeper. All right. John, yes, skew T nerdiness. Well, and it's not a genuine skew T. I mean, it's a model's version of it, but yes. All right. Terry, is anyone else not understanding this graphic? It's a lot. I know. Terry, what aren't you understanding? And I can try and help again. I don't want to like bore everybody with a second explanation, but maybe Terry, go back and listen. And if I didn't do it right, I apologize. This is one of those things that like you learn about in school, right? But you don't, at least I never expected to be like talking about it, because when I was going to school, there was no social media, or it was in its infancy. So the idea of you talking about this on TV was like, you learn about it, read it, don't talk about it, because it's very, very advanced. It's very confusing. I mean, we could get into like the bottom left, the PCL CAPE CINH, LCL, we could get into the CAPE numbers. We could get into the lifted index numbers. We could get into the bulk shear. We could get into, there's all kinds of stuff on here. And it's computer model data stuff. So anyway. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. You did it right. It's me. Oh, Terry, it's you. The wind barbs show winds from the flag side blowing to the staff side, right? Yes. Flag side to the staff side. Correct. So that, Chris, gives you an idea of the wind's direction. Because in a tornado situation, what you're looking for is winds turning with height. That gives you an idea that there's some spin in the atmosphere. So if you get a storm blowing up, it's going to have that natural rotation. So there you go. How much work for me to go for a master's or a PhD? There's zero chance I'm doing that, Yukon. That is zero. How much work? A lot of work that I don't want to do. It's not that I'm against it. It's just not my shtick. So, yeah. Rather go learn flying more stuff. Because what's nice, Yukon, is I've got friends that have master's degrees in meteorology, so if I ever need to get into some stuff that it's way above my head, I can go bother them. Yeah. Aaron says, feels very El Nino-like. If we had a 1998 event, we are better prepared now that we have social media and we get tornado warnings on our phones. That's 100% correct. Well, it's 100% correct in the social media event. This does not look like a 1998 event. When you're looking for it, let me try and find... Hold on. Skew T tornado setup. I'm just going to try and find a skew T that represents like a good tornado setup. Okay. I'm just going on a random website here. All right, supercells possible, blah, 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 blah. Give me the skew T. So this is, you were asking about skew T's, copy image address. What you're looking for when you want to see tornadoes. Okay, give me a second to turn this around. All right. So this is one of those. This is not what we are looking at, but this is a skew T. Do you see the goalpost effect on this? Do you see how that looks so different than what we are looking at, right? So that's goalpost. You see at the bottom, it's moist, and then it goes way out, right? And look at the shear. Look at the wind shear there from like a south-southeast at the surface to a southwest with height. That's a much better kind of scenario. You see how when you get to like 500 millibars, big goalpost. You're looking, the easiest way to remember this, goalpost. Think of tornadoes as field goals on skew T's. When you want a tornado setup, you look for the goalposts. It's not as impressive for us, which I love that for us, but that's the super easiest way to try and think of it. You want a good severe weather day, you want a really good tornado day, look for the goalposts. Central Florida 1998 tornado outbreak, skew T. I'm just looking to see. I don't know that I'll find this, but let's look for this together. I'm just curious. I'm going to put it into the Google machine. Since we're nerding out and you guys kind of brought it up, give me a few seconds to do this. So this is the National Weather Service. If I hit images, I can't promise it. Yeah, so these are all the images, but I don't know if there's any sounding data on it. Yeah, I just don't see any soundings. This is Mechanicsville. That's not us. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any soundings, y'all. I'd love to be able to show it. See a lot of TV station graphics. That's always fun. From the other stations. Yeah, I don't see any soundings. I don't know if there's like an easy way to go and get archive sounding. I actually don't know, at least that far back. Because I know I can use this website, but how far back does it go? It goes, 98. I'll try it. QT. What was it? It's February. Hold on, let me look. Because now you've gotten me like wanting 1998. February 22nd. February 22nd to the 23rd. I'll try. I don't know if this will work. XMR. Holy crap. Did this just work? Holy crap, it did. Oh my God. Y'all, I found it. The same reference source that I use to pull up LRC stuff. Copy image address. To case study it. All right. Here's your LRC. Here's your 1998 SKU. Oh my God. Okay. So when you talk about how this is like 1998, it's absolutely not. Here's the 1998. You see that goalpost from about 850 to 700 millibars? You see that? Look at the shear, how it goes from an east wind at the surface to southwest, super close to the surface. Okay? That, when I see that, I can get scared. Okay? So, we don't have that. Okay? Like, just to be so clear, goalposts. When you see the goalposts, there's that. Look at the turning of the winds. Easterly at the surface, right above the surface southerly, just above that southwest. There's your spin. We do not have it. Yeah, Jan says he's determined to find it. Oh, I was darn determined to find it. Okay, so there's that. And if you're... These kids are banshees. So there's why, my friends. There's why. All right? When you see that, we can know that it's going to be bad. All right? So anyway, enough of that. I had to go off on that tangent because somebody brought it up and I'm like, well, I've got to find this. Look at that thing though. Jesus Christ, that's like crazy. Wow. All right, enough of that. Let's just look ahead, see what our 7-day forecast looks like. So we do know that we've got some showers and storms on Saturday and then again on Tuesday. Okay? Mary, you're right. Boys being boys, but holy cannoli. Great job doing that research for us. Just another... Oh, thank you very much, Karen. Thank you. Well, and if it gets perspective, right? Like, when people say... Like, you'll see, I promise you, if you follow social media... You're going to see meteorologists that are like, this is going to be scary on Saturday. And it's like, bro, what are you even looking at? You know? So that's why it's important for perspective to look at the differences and to say, like, 98, we know what happened. I can pull up Groundhog Day in for another day. But I can pull up Groundhog Day in 07 and it's going to be something similar, right? So there you go. All right? All right? Questions, comments, concerns? Anything? Yukon, I'm ignoring you? Oh, boy. All right. I'm going to go try and help the wife out because these kids are insane. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. We'll watch for some showers tonight. A couple of thunderstorms on Saturday. Looks like the severity's down. Tuesday, if you're curious, like... what Tuesday looks like, let me just look. I think it's probably a little early to get much. Yeah, the Tuesday stuff, computer models are just trying to sniff it out. All right. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Be the sunshine in someone else's day.